Good evening, everybody. Hope you are well. We're about to start. Just confirm if you can hear my voice and see the screen.
Good evening. Yes, I can.
Fantastic. All right, so I'm just gonna give it one more minute and then we'll start. All right, good evening, everybody. So we are going to start. I see we have 10 people, which is a good number to start with. I hope you're able to do the action items that we had agreed upon last time. This week should have started the application process, should have reached out to your referees and identified at least an academic mentor that will help you in your application process. Excuse me. So today we are going to look specifically at personal statements and why these are important, and we'll build upon the presentation I did last time and just see how best and how the personal statements tie in with that presentation. Okay, so this will be the outline. So we are going to try to understand what is a personal statement, the purpose of a personal statement, how you can structure your personal statement, and then here I'll show my particular formula of a personal statement, and I hope it will be useful to you. And then we'll go over one of the personal statements that I recently submitted for my current program, so that you can just see how it fits in the formula that I'll give. Then we'll talk about tips for writing an effective personal statement, and also briefly touch on common mistakes to avoid. And then from there, I'll just give my final thoughts, and I'll also introduce the concept of your one word. What is the concept of your one word for your application? And then we do Q&A afterwards. So to start with, what is a personal statement? I'm starting with a personal statement because all the essays that you're going to do, either for Achieving or for the Commonwealth scholarships, are a subset of the personal statement. And a personal statement that you send to the university, to Achieving, as well as to the Commonwealth, you start with broadly one personal statement, and all these other things will come out of there. There'll be a reflection of what you are and who you are. So we are going to touch briefly on a broader picture of a personal statement. So it is a written document that allows applicants to present themselves to a university, scholarship committee, or employer in a personal, reflective manner. So a personal statement is an opportunity for you to show your uniqueness. I'm going to introduce to you a concept of birds of the same feathers. You know, they say birds of the same feathers flock together. If you're on this call, you're in any of those WhatsApp groups that I've created, you are basically of the same nature. All of you are ambitious individuals. All of you are applying for scholarships. You probably have meet the eligibility criteria. So what will distinguish one from the other? So a personal statement is a good opportunity to distinguish yourself from the rest of the applicants. So it typically includes a narrative of the applicant's academic achievements, personal background, experiences, skills, and future goals. But it's not just listing them as they appear on your CV, but rather in a creative way that conveys your uniqueness and why you're the best candidate for a particular scholarship. So again, what's the purpose? So you'd want to showcase who you are beyond your academic records. highlighting your unique qualities, motivations, and reasons for applying to a particular program or institution. It's funny, 3 days ago, I was reviewing a personal statement for somebody, and all they did was just list what is in their CV on the personal statement without any context. So that's not the purpose of a personal statement. It has to be unique. Yes, you can include things that are on your CV, but you don't have to crunch down the entire CV onto your personal statement. It doesn't work that way. So in my opinion, it is often a key component in the admissions process, helping decision makers understand your suitability and potential fit for the course opportunity you're pursuing. So as I said, everyone who applies for these things, you meet the entire eligibility criteria. More often than not, the distinguishing factor will be the personal statement. So your personal statement are very, very important. You need to pay particular attention to it because at the end of the day, it's what's going to distinguish one from the other. There is a fellowship of which I'm a reviewer of. I'm not going to mention which one it is for obvious reasons, but at the end of the day, once the the people that check for eligibility have checked, when they send to the reviewers to choose who it is and who qualifies for what, usually we just look at the personal statements because they've already sifted against the eligibility criteria. So once that has already been done, when it's time um, for some of us to review, we just look at the personal statements. So the personal statements are quite unique. These essays that you put in your applications are what's going to distinguish you one from the other after you've met your eligibility criteria. So pay particular attention to that personal statement. So writing an effective personal statement, what is it that you need to do? First of all, you need to be authentic and showcase your true self. A personal statement is an opportunity for you to tell your unique story. I get a lot of requests from people say, can you write for me a personal statement? And that both puzzles me so much. How can I write a personal statement about you? I don't know you. You've got your unique story. So this is an opportunity to tell your unique story. Most people say, but what is my unique story? Believe you me, everybody has got their own unique story. There's a story that is motivating you. So when you sit down to write your personal statement, it is that unique story that is going to make you stand out from the rest. You can't have a generic personal statement. Later during this presentation, I'm going to share a personal statement that I did, and I hope people are not going to copy that word for word and try to put it in their own essays, but rather look at the formula of how I did it and how you can do it as well. But otherwise, you need to be unique. You need to be authentic. You need to be yourself. So when you do a personal statement, it should bring out you, yes, your unique perspective, your unique circumstances. They should come out of the personal statement rather than just, looking at uh, a generic personal statement that you've downloaded from somewhere. So you need to reflect and don't just list. As I've said before, some people just crunch down their CV into a personal statement, try to list whatever they've done. You need to put those things into context. What is it that you try to convey? How are you trying to justify some of the things that are on your CV? You may have poor grades, but the time maybe you were pursuing that course, you might have been ill. You might have missed a few exams. The personal statement gives you the opportunity to kind of um, explain away some of the things that are not clear on your CV. And the personal statement needs to be tailored to each program. So you need to customize. If you're going to apply to the Chevening and the Commonwealth, believe me, since you're one individual, your stories will be the same, but they need to be customized for each particular essay. The Commonwealth Scholarship has got about 8 essays that you need to write down. Chevening has got about 4. A university will have one, all different lengths, different sizes, different weight counts. So you can't just have one statement that fits all. You need to customize for each statement that you do and each um, application that you make. It needs to be custom. And I'm going to show when I read my personal statement how this comes in. So you need to use clear and concise style, avoid jargon or complex language. And sometimes people try to sound so smart in the personal statement. You use industry specific language. That could work in some instances, but in some instances it does not work. So you need to be very careful on what language you use. For some admissions teams, the people that are reading these personal statements are not even specialized in in the in a particular field. So you need to keep it simple. Try to make it as simple as possible. If you're explaining to somebody or to a 5-year-old or to a toddler, how can you explain your personal statement? It needs to be that clear. You can use a bit of technical language where it fits, but mostly it has to be something that's understandable. And then you need to proofread. Ensure your grammar, punctuation, or there are no spelling errors in your personal statement. Nowadays, we've got a lot of tools that you use. Last week, I mentioned one tool that I like using, which is Grammarly. That one will check for your punctuation and it's without changing the structure of your sentences. You could use ChatGPT to check for errors as well, or just even the Word document or a Google Docs. They'll check for these errors and punctuations. But after you've done that, it's important that you send it to at least a couple of people to read your personal statement and try to ask them, what is it that you think I'm trying to convey? That's why in the group I asked you guys to kind of pair up, reach out to one another in the group so that you can have someone who is motivated as much as you are to read your personal statement. So I hope you maintain those pairs. And then there's also the font spacing. Mostly, if there are different types of application process. For instance, the chevening, you'll be writing in a web page as well as the common. But some universities will ask you to submit a PDF version or a Word version of your personal statement. Sometimes it might be not clear. So if it's not clear what they want and how you should format your page, just stick to a 12 font, 1.5 to double spacing, at least that the words are big enough for someone to read. Try to use short sentences and also don't cramp everything in one paragraph to make it very difficult to read. And again, it's also a good practice in such cases where you're submitting a document to indicate the number of words that you've used now for the person who's reviewing to have an idea. But if it's in a web page, like for the chevening or the Commonwealth, it will cut the extra words automatically. So once you submit those, ensure that you're within the word limit so that the software does not cut extra words from your personal statement, making it weird. So just pay attention to those things. So again, the importance of a personal statement, as I've said, you show your unique qualities. Everyone here has a distinction or a merit or even a credit, depending whatever um, um, grading system your university used. But what I can say is if you're ambitious enough to apply for this, believe you me, your results are the best. Nobody can judge you on demographic data and all those other things that you need to fill in into your application process. Again, what would distinguish you boils down to the wire. It's a personal statement, what you've written in your essays. That is what's going to distinguish you. So again, demonstrate fit for academic program. I got a bunch of questions last time about people trying to switch programs. I'm pursuing mathematics. I want to do economics. I'm pursuing medicine, but I want to do a master's in law. This is where you demonstrate your fit for the program. within the personal statement, you justify. I'm a medical doctor, there are problems with litigation, this and that. We don't have a person who fully understands the law and fully understands medicine. So I think I'm the best person for this program. You demonstrate that, you justify. For some of these courses, they may even ask to say, okay, if you want to do this, you need to have maybe done some basic law or some basic prerequisite for that particular course. This is where you show that. It can be in your CV, but it's difficult to read in a CV for the admissions committee. So you demonstrate, you show them why you're the best fit. And then again, you provide context for gaps or weaknesses in your academic records. As I've said, the example I gave might have been sick, might have something extraordinary might have happened to you, which led to you having poor grades. You can explain that in your personal statement and show that during this time, this issue, I was ill, I was bedridden, this and that. That's why I didn't get good results, but it gives you an opportunity. Shows writing and communication skills, especially for people that are doing social sciences. Social sciences, you need to demonstrate your skills in writing. First thing that I did when I got to LSU was sign up for a course that was that basically taught us how to write good essays. And the target population were some of us in the hardcore science backgrounds. Our writing may not be so good. So when you write, you need to ensure that your writing is perfect. It's okay. They're able to communicate. They're also judging communication skills when they're looking at your personal statement. And again, you show your enthusiasm and commitment to the process. So again, I end this segment by saying the most important element, in my opinion, of the application process, having been part of certain fellowship that I won't mention, was when it comes to the why, we just look at personal statements because you've already made the eligibility criteria. What is it that distinguishes it? Everybody who passes to that final stage qualifies for the scholarship, but there's a limited number of scholarship. So who are we going to give? It has to do with reviewing your personal statements. That's what is going to distinguish you from the other. So structuring your personal statement, basically it's got three, boring stuff, an introduction, body, and conclusion. Okay. But what I would highlight is for the introduction, it needs to have a captivating opening, and establishing a personal motivation. You can even briefly talk about your academic interests and goals. And then in the body, that's why you put the meat, you put everything that I'm going to talk about in a coming slide or two. And also very important is the conclusion. The conclusion is very important, particularly if you're doing courses like the Chevening's scholarship. If you're applying for the Chevening asks a specific question. Once you've written your personal statement, in your summary, you should demonstrate how you've answered this particular a particular question. So for instance, if they'll say a question concerning networking, they'll ask you, give an example, use the, smart approach. You can do all that, but at the end of the day, you need to demonstrate and also conclude strongly that you've demonstrated how you're going to be networking with your colleagues. Or you need to also demonstrate, if you say, what is your motivation for studying in the UK? After you've written your personal statement, it should come out clearly in your conclusion that this is the reason why. You need to answer the question conclusively in the personal statement, but even in the conclusion, you need to reinforce it. Okay, so here's my personal formula for a personal statement. So I've used this formula to apply to about 4 or 5 universities. 4 of them were in the UK and one was in the United States. And using this formula, I've been able to get through all these 4 universities that I applied for, except one. But before that, I did not develop this formula. So what's the first thing that you have in the first part of the personal statement? It should be a hook. So you hook the reader, you captivate their attention. You know, you don't have to write something so boring in the first statement that person who's reading even fails to finish reading the rest of your essay. It needs to be captivating. It needs to be something that poses a question in their mind. What is it? They just want to read on and try to get to the answer of this statement. The second part is you need to demonstrate why this university, what's the uniqueness of this particular school. You can use the ranking, course ranking, research outputs, all those things to demonstrate why you've chosen this university. It's funny, when I was going to the United States at immigration, when they asked me, I was surprised, first of all, to get this question. Which other courses did you apply to? Which other university did you apply to? I only applied to one, it's only one university that I applied to, because it's the only one that offered what I was looking for. So even when you're applying, if you choose a university, make the university feel as if it's the only one that you're applying to. And then why this course? Of course, you have motivation. You should have written that, motivation. And then also, it's also important to look at the modules. What do you expect to learn from 1 or 2 modules? So you need to have done your research to understand what is in the modules. You also need to talk about some academics that you want to work with. So the professors that you want to work with, a specific course that needs to come up, and then you need to summarize. So I'm gonna briefly stop sharing so that I can demonstrate my personal statement. I'm just gonna read through, and then afterwards we'll get back to the presentation and just to see how everything fits into what I've been talking about. Okay, so can you see my personal statement? Is it showing?
Yes, it is showing.
Fantastic. All right, here we go. So this is the personal statement I submitted last year in December. I submitted it to the University of Harvard for the program that I'm currently pursuing. So this was my personal statement. I'm going to read through, and then I'm going to see how it breaks down using the formula that I've showed before. So here goes. Now, after graduating from medical school in Russia in 2015, I returned to Zambia with a goal to specialize in cardiovascular surgery. My choice was heavily influenced by the high prevalence of cardiovascular diseases, a leading cause of death in Russia. However, my career path took an unexpected turn when I was deployed to a rural hospital in Zambia, where I served as one of just 4 medical doctors responsible for a community of over 200,000 people. It was during this assignment that I realized that HIV was the leading cause of mortality in Zambia. Working at this hospital, I witnessed an alarmingly high mortality rate, primarily caused by the inconsistent supply of essential drugs. It was heartbreaking to see impoverished patients selling their belongings to afford medication, only to witness their health deteriorate despite their sacrifices. This experience led me to recognize that my true calling was in addressing broader population health issues rather than exclusively focusing on individual patients. Consequently, I decided to abandon my dream of pursuing cardiothoracic surgery and instead embarked on a path to strengthen healthcare systems in Zambia. To achieve this, I pursued a master's in global health policy at the prestigious London School of Economics. Upon successfully completing my studies, I assumed the role of provincial medical officer at the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention within their Zambia country office. In this leadership position, I'm entrusted with overseeing the health of nearly 2 million people in my province and have access to invaluable patient-level data on approximately 1.3 million people living with HIV nationwide. Analyzing this data, I realized that I needed to enhance my epidemiological skills to design data-driven interventions that could improve population health. Despite my recent master's degree, I felt compelled to seek further qualifications that would equip me with advanced quantitative skills in epidemiology. In my pursuit of the ideal MPH program globally, I identified the MPH in epidemiology offered by Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health as a perfect choice for three compelling reasons. Firstly, it is part-time hybrid format, allows me to continue my current role without disruption while also affording me valuable networking opportunities during on-campus sessions. Secondly, the program stands out due to its esteemed faculty members who specialize in my field, particularly Dr. Jeff M.I. Etun, renowned for his extensive portfolio of HIV research. His work on the Rwanda population-based HIV impact assessment, RIFIA, closely aligns with my current involvement in analyzing data for the 2021 Zambia population-based HIV impact assessment, ZAMFIA. His team's effective utilization of routine programmatic data on ART coverage in conjunction with RIFIA data to calculate HIV incidence and prevalence at district level strongly resonates with the expertise I aspire to acquire through this course. Thirdly, the program offers advanced quantitative skills through the introduction of epidemiology and biostatistics ID 207 and 208, enabling me to conduct analysis that inform better decision-making. I'm particularly eager to explore the elective course entitled Analysis of Publicly Available Databases for Epidemiological and Health Services Research, AP 526, which I believe will equip me with the skills to use patient-level data to address scientific and programmatic gaps in HIV program. In conclusion, the part-time hybrid format, the distinguished faculty, and the advanced epidemiological quantitative course skills offered by the Harvard MPH in epidemiology make it the perfect fit for me. Furthermore, I'm confident that my unique experiences will contribute to the diversity of my cohort, fostering enhanced peer-to-peer learning. So this was the personal statement that I did submit to Harvard when I applied for the MPH in AP that I'm currently pursuing. So now let's go through the formula. Can you see my screen? Can you see personal statement formula continued?
Yes, I can.
Oh, fantastic. So the first part, after graduating from medical school in Russia in 2015, I returned to Zambia with a goal to specialize in cardiovascular surgery. But bear in mind, I'm applying for an MPH in epidemiology. And here I am talking about cardiovascular surgery. So that's the hook. That's the thing that plants a question in the reader's mind, particularly the admissions, because they are an AP in epidemiology admissions team rather than the Harvard medical team looking at cardiothoracic surgery or cardiovascular surgery. So, you know, I show that I wanted to specialize in this. The question, what changed? Why am I not pursuing this? If I pursued it, there are so many questions. So it's a striking contrast. So as a person with the goal of becoming cardiothoracic surgeon or cardiovascular surgeon, one might expect my path to focus on in the operating room. Yet here I am applying for an MPH AP. There's this immediate contradiction grabs the reader's attention and sparks curiosity. Why would someone with passion for surgery pursue public health in this format? Or do they want to pursue public health with concerns of cardiovascular disease? So that's when a person has so many questions, they're encouraged to read on to understand what is happening. I spent the next two paragraphs just talking about the context. So I talk about what influenced my idea initially to think of pursuing cardiothoracic surgery and what has changed. Came back to Zambia, found, you know what, heart diseases are not the biggest problem. The number one killer in Zambia is HIV, you know. So as I've said in your personal statements, you try to justify why you are pursuing a specific course. So already I'm building up here a foundation of talking about why I think the HIV, the Masters in AP program is the best. And then I also briefly mentioned that I pursued a Master's in Global Health Policy at the London School of Economics. Yeah, so they may be seeing a Master's. Why is this person trying to pursue another Master's? What is it? They may see it on the CV. They may see it in the application. But I just briefly explained to show that okay, I had issues, and the time my motivation for applying to the Masters in Global Health at LSC was because the biggest issue was with I've talked about people buying drugs, not having drugs, was the health economics issue. We didn't have drugs. There was problems with funding. So I was thinking maybe if I'm well versed in that area, I might be able to offer my solution, So unfortunately did that. As I say, fortunately did that, but still there was something like I came back, I got this role, I'm in this position of influence, but I'm still lacking in my skills. Um, that's how I bring up now this point to say, you know what? After I did this, but I still have this problem. I'm dealing with HIV, and now I have an AP problem. I don't have a health economics problem because my master has taken care of that. But now I need epidemiology, and I show what kind of databases I'm looking at, and the people that the type of data that I do. Also, just give an insight of the work that I do. And then now I come to the point of now talking about the reasons why I've chosen a specific course. So I indicate that there are three key reasons why I've specifically chosen this course. It's important to clearly convey your reasons for choosing a particular course or university, and signposting the number of reasons helps provide clarity. So someone who's reading, if you have maybe 5 reasons or whatever, if you don't mention it, it's difficult for them to. But if you say, I'm going to provide 3 reasons why I've chosen this course, so they'll be looking for those reasons. And again, it reinforces, it rehooks the reader to kind of try to read those 3 courses, those 3 reasons. And after giving that broad context, obviously now I'm showing that I'm more inclined to an MPH, in this case, particularly in epidemiology. And now I signpost. The first one, it's easy. So first, it's a part-time hybrid format, allows me to continue my current role without disruption, while also affording me valuable networking opportunities during on-campus sessions. So I'm talking about the structure of the program here. So look, there are so many programs. In fact, Harvard offers so many AP programs that can be taken on campus, right? But why did I choose a hybrid format where I spend a couple of weeks on campus and spend the rest of the time online? So I bring out those reasons. It's the number one reason because, as I've said, I'm in a role and I found myself with certain deficiencies. I want to plug in those deficiencies. So it doesn't make sense for me to leave my role completely. So I show that by putting it in the personal statement. And then go to the second reason. Here we're getting a little bit of meat. I say the program stands out due to its esteemed faculty members who specialize in my field, particularly Dr. Jeff M.I. Eaton, renowned for his extensive portfolio of HIV research. So this shows the admissions that I've done my homework. I've gone into I've checked the website, checked out the faculty that are using, that will be teaching us, and also looked at the research which they do and how it aligns. So this is for this point itself, for you to have this point in your personal statement, you need to have done a little bit of research. But as I said, if you have a mentor who's pursuing the course that you want to pursue at the moment, they can tell you, what is your interest? No, it's HIV. No, there's this course at my school, and there's this professor taught us about this and that. You say something unique about that course, shows that you really know what you want to pursue. and you've done your research. So if you put all these things together, it becomes it forms a good it forms a good reason in your course. So again, your academic mentor, those people I told you reach out to, will tell you all these things, and it will be easy. But if they don't, you need to read the entire web page of the university, the specific course. Look at the faculty that will be teaching you, who is there. Once you've done that, you can use Google Scholar to check for the papers they've done and see which one aligns with you, which member of the faculty aligns with your interest. Look at one paper in detail that they've done, read it, get a summary there. For me, I was working on the Zambia population-based HIV impact assessment, Zambia. I found this professor had done work on a similar project in Rwanda, the RIFIA. So if you do that, makes it easy for the admissions team to choose you. And then again, thirdly, the program offers advanced quantitative skills through the introduction of this course, and I mentioned other modules. So you have to research the modules to show them beyond a reasonable doubt that you know what you want and what you want to pursue. You should have gone through the modules. Some universities will show you the modules and what is involved in the modules, but for some, they won't. So your academic mentor plays a key role here. They will tell you, no, actually, we are doing this course. We are using Stata programming for this course. We've been divided into group projects for this course. And at the end of the day, we have an opportunity to even publish the project that we are going to do. Most of that information may not be there on the website, but if you have this inner information from your academic mentor and you put it out and say, you know what, I want to pursue this course because I want at the end of the day, when I'm done with the school itself, I should have a paper ready that I should be able to publish, because this course gives us this unique opportunity to work with Stata, to work in groups, and to come up with a paper that we can even publish. There's some courses that do that. I took a course at LSE that was called Evidence Review and Synthesis, something like that. In that course, we were put in groups, and the plan was to publish a paper at the end of the day. If you don't want to publish it, you may not, but it's so rigorous that you do a project which is good enough to publish at the end of the day. So you can put those things in a personal statement. And again, how are you going to know about those things? If you reach out to an academic mentor that can give you the inside information. Otherwise, you can't distinguish you from the rest of people that will just say, I want to pursue this course because it has these modules, and then they list them, but with no meat, as in why they're listing those modules. So I guess that's good on that. And finally, the conclusion, very important. Again, most important thing, I've told them my sad story up there, but by this time, I don't know if they'll even remember by the time they're getting to this point about my sad story about, people dying of HIV and stuff like that. But in the conclusion, 3 key highlights. I'm showing them why this program is the best fit for me. Say the part-time hybrid format, very key for me. Distinguished faculty, and the advanced epidemiological quantitative skills. These 3 things, they make this course the best course for me. And I don't just leave them at that. I even tell them, look, not only am I going to learn from you, but I say, I'm confident that my unique experiences will contribute to diversity of my cohort, fostering enhanced peer-to-peer learning. In these cohorts, in these universities, when you're doing these courses, they would want to hear experiences from Africa. There are people coming from all over the countries. I'll give them my unique perspective, what is happening in Africa. So not only are there students in this particular cohort going to benefit from faculty, but also from amongst ourselves. And I bring this unique, perspective. So basically, that's my personal statement formula that I've used so many times, and it got me into Harvard. So I'm really proud about this. First part, you hook the reader. Second part, you tell them your sad story. Third part, you talk about why this university, why this course. Fourth part, specific professors that you'll be working with. You need to do your research, find out who, and also the modules, fifth part, the modules that you'll be working with. And finally, you wrap it all up in a concise conclusion, depending on the word count. So for this course, the maximum was, they wanted 600 words. I managed to hit 586 words, which I was really proud of. I was aiming to go for 590 to show that I can use the real estate that they've given me to the maximum. But at the end of the day, I ended up with 586, which I think I'm proud of. But different courses will have different word counts, different lengths. So you need to pay attention to that. Having said this, what are some of the common mistakes to avoid? So avoid the cliches, overused statements. I've always been passionate about this. No, bro, you're not. You've not been passionate always. This started somewhere. Avoid these cliches. Others will quote Martin Luther King, say this and that and that. I don't know if it works, if it's a good quote enough, maybe it may capture the attention of the admissions team, but just stay away from these cliches, No, since I was a child, this and that. No, talk about what's happening now, Avoid those cliches. And then repetition, don't repeat information already provided in your application. As I've said, you don't want to go into courses that, put context. If you're going to introduce something in there, show context, There was one specific course that I've done. If you look at my LinkedIn, you see that I did a course called Big Data Epidemiology at Oxford. That was sponsored by my organization. For that, when I was applying for that, they needed certain prerequisites. So instead of rehashing everything, so they wanted me to have done certain quantitative method courses. So I had written in that, for this course, I've got this experience from this course. This is what we did. So you don't just rehash information from your CV, but you pick specific information and look at the question. What is the question saying? These prompts for personal statements or the essays, they are always a question that they're asking you. You need to answer the question. So don't just put things. And then again, vagueness, be specific about experience under the goals. Don't just be vague, If you've seen from my statement, it was very clear to the point, It didn't have to be vague. There was a personal statement I was reading a couple of weeks ago from a certain gentleman, and it was an essay for the Chevening scholarship, and they were so vague, It was networking essay. They were saying, I attended this event. That's it. And then again, I attended this. That's it. I attended this other academic event. I networked. That's it. Then it's vague. It's so vague. You need to be specific. If you have attended a specific event or a certain networking event or an academic conference, what is it that you learned from there? How did you use it in your organization? You have to show that you're able to network for the good of the people or your organization. Again, lack of focus, Every statement used to be examined and re-examined, that it's providing to the overall narrative, not just talking from without with no focus. It's basically it doesn't make for a good personal statement. And then again, very important, ignoring instructions. They say 2,000 words, do 2,000 words. If they say 5,000, 1,000 words or 500 words or 600 words, you go do as you've been instructed. If they tell you use this font and this spacing, don't do your own things. Do as they've said. If you don't, your application will just be thrown out. So, final thoughts. Personal statements, as I've said, even the essays, I'm plugging them in this personal statement heading. The essays that you need to do for your scholarships, You need to start early and revise multiple times. And believe you me, you need to ask someone to read your personal statements before you submit. Somebody has to read objectively, and try to understand what you're writing. But most people are busy, so I used to use my wife most time. I'll write, say, read. Sometimes she would read, it's fine, it's perfect. So no. I think you're not giving me so much help. I'll say, okay, read it aloud. So she'll start reading and I'll close my eyes and just listen. I say, nah, that's it, man. Doesn't sound okay. Then I'll change. I'll do it. So you need to have number of people look at your statements. And it's even good now that you have a formula that I've given you. When you start looking at the specific statements for the courses, maybe I'll provide specific formulas for those as well, so that it's easy for people to review. Say, did you touch this check? Did you talk about this check? Did you talk about that? I think it will be easy, and we'll see. Thumbs up if you're looking forward to that. And then also seek feedback from mentors, teachers, or peers. Yeah, as I've said, your mentors will, especially people that have applied for this course you're applying to, the courses, the scholarship, they know what's expected. So ensure that you seek feedback, find ways of getting this feedback. These people are usually very busy, may not give you the time, but find ways. And then again, be confident in telling your unique story. Your story is unique. It's different from any other. As I've said, it is your story that is going to distinguish. Once you've made all the eligibility criteria and they say these are the best 100 or the best 25, the organization I spoke of, they'll give you 25 essays and say, you know what, give us at least one from these 25, or whoever qualifies from these 25, then they'll go into another process. At the end of the day, they just choose a few people. So be confident. At the end of the day, it is your story that is going to make you stand out. And now I want to introduce this issue of what is your one word. So once you do your application, at the end of the application, the reader should have one word in their mind that describes you or that they can associate with you, If you, for instance, let me use a vague example. If maybe you're a chess player and you've talked about why you need to be playing chess or why you need to be where you are and attend specific courses that will enhance, at the end of the day, they should say, oh, this is the application of that chess player guy, that will be your one word, chess, if it's something, if you're doing a course in economics, it needs to be very specific, the thing that you need to convey at the end of the day, that people are clear with what it is that you've written. So you can say, that's the guy who's the best, that's the application for the health economist, or this and that, to make it very clear, you have to have this one word. Okay, so I'm gonna do questions and I'm going to stop the recording just now. And as I've stopped this recording, if I stopped it, oh, wait a minute. Um, Still sharing, but I want to stop the recording. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Just trying to find where I can stop the record. Okay, let me stop sharing and then stop